I'm excited to be bringing you today a tapping practice that came to me in my own meditation and quiet time. And I believe this practice to be one of not only grounding and centering, but also of empowering you with confidence, courage, and clarity. And from a metaphysical side, metaphysical being the intersection of mind, body, spirit, from the ethereal into matter or into form, that's what it's helping us do, is to rewire and to ground our energetic circuits and our systems and our wiring in our brains to the truth of our sovereign divinity. And when I say sovereign divinity, what I am referring to is your truest essence, your union and your communion with Source, Infinite, Love, God, whatever name you call it. Perhaps it's Sophia. And so in this simple 5-minute practice, I invite you to partake, but also to witness, to observe and notice yourself, at least for this first time when we do it together. If you find yourself really sinking into the practice, to the words that are being spoken, and find that they resonate with you and light you up, that is wonderful. Keep going. If you find at any point you feel yourself retracting, feeling resistant to what's being said, perhaps getting agitated or angry, know that that too is okay. What is actually happening on an energetic level is some of the lies or conditioning, fear-based narratives that we have can kind of jump up in those moments, and that's what's happening. And so simply observe and just stay with it. And so I'm going to invite you to, as you're doing the tapping exercise, to repeat after me. But if you feel that inner resistance at all, my invitation to you is to stay with it, to observe what's going on, but to keep tapping and just to listen to my words. And keep doing it. Come back to this practice again and again, using this video if it assists you, or using it on your own. And as you do that, you will begin to notice, and this is my prayer with this exercise, okay? And my intention with bringing it to you is that we are creating a miracle, a manifested miracle, into form within our bodies. So it's an embodiment practice. And my prayer is that it's going to create a shift within you that's going to begin to manifest on all levels of your being. And that shift, in my prayer, is that it's a return to love. It's a return to your innocence, so that you can live from that place of your sovereign divinity, from that place of wholeness and confidence and clarity in who you are, in whose you are, in your truest, most brightest, beautiful self. And so let's do this practice now together. And I just want to declare over this practice that it would fill us with hope and with joy, so that we can continue to live our believing life in the power of the Spirit, of heaven on earth, made form and reality in us and through us. And I pray that as we do this practice, that peace that surpasses all understanding would guard our hearts and our minds and all levels of our being, regardless of whatever circumstances we find ourselves in right now in this moment, as well as in this time in history. Okay, let's get started. Find yourself in a simple seated posture. I invite you, if you'd like, to ground your hands onto your thighs or onto the earth. Flutter your eyes closed, and let's begin to bring our awareness to our breath, simply observing. Allowing whatever posture, whatever state of being we find ourselves in to just be all right, to belong in this moment. Let's take one full inhale and exhale together to the count of 4. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open your mouth and let's exhale. One more on your own. Good. I invite you to open your eyes and to follow along with me. We are going to begin to tap, and I'm going to show you the places we're going to tap. We're going to tap our top of our head, our forehead, our temples, our eyes, under our nose, our chin, our heart in the first part, and then in the second part we're going to bring in the sides of our ribs. All right, each we're going to do 3 times. All right, so the first time, simply hear my words and receive as you tap along with me. Here we go. Tapping the top of our head. My sovereign divinity sees the agenda of this viral epidemic. Moving now to our temples. I see how it is trying to control us and to terrorize us. Moving now to under your eye. It can't do this to me. Under your nose. My heart and my mind are clear. Moving now to your chin, shining with the light of my sovereign divinity. Your chest. You must fall back. You have no place here. Returning to the top of your head, to your crown, I invite you now to repeat with me from the top. My sovereign divinity sees the agenda of this viral epidemic. Good, to your forehead. I see how it is trying to control us and terrorize us. To the sides of the eyes. You can't do this to me. Under the chin. Or nose, sorry. My heart and my mind are clear. Chin shining with the light of my divinity. To the chest. You must fall back. You have no place here. Third time from the top. My sovereign divinity sees the agenda of this viral epidemic. I see how it is trying to control us and to terrorize us. Temples. It can't do that to me. Under the eyes. My heart and my mind are clear. Under the nose, shining with the light of my divinity. Chin. You must fall back. Chest. You have no place here. Placing your hands back down, let's take one round of breath together, breathing in. Exhaling. Good. Now let's move on to part 2. We're going to use our left hand now, or whatever opposite hand you used. All right, this is a new set of declarations. So the first one at the top of the head. The first time, let's just listen, receive my declarations. My body is sacred. Your forehead. My mind is sacred. temples. My emotions are sacred. Under your eyes. My thoughts are sacred. Under the nose. My relationship with life is sacred. Chin. I claim my sacred heart. Chest. I let burn my sacred heart. And now we're going to move to the sides of the ribs. I live and lead. Other side. From my sacred heart. Good. Returning to the top, this time I invite you to repeat after me. My body is sacred. My mind is sacred. My emotions are sacred. My thoughts are sacred. My relationship to life is sacred. I claim my sacred heart. I let burn my sacred heart. I live and lead from my sacred heart. 2 hands, final round, top of the head, repeat. My body is sacred. My mind is sacred. My emotions are sacred. My thoughts are sacred. My relationship to life is sacred. I claim my sacred heart. I let burn my sacred heart. I live and lead from my sacred heart. Good. One final round of breath together. Biggest inhale of the day. Open that mouth. Good. I invite you now to just sit for a moment, close your eyes, and just observe. Notice your inner world right now, and be with whatever has come up. It could be joy, it could be sadness, it could be a physical sensation in the body. I actually feel a little sick, and I know that that's because it's my body purging the lies that counteract or are attempting to counteract this. But here's what we're doing. Explaining to you what we're actually doing is that in this world, as we've talked about many times before, we live in a very polarized world, okay? Love versus fear, if you want to boil it all down to that. And the reality is that our sovereign divinity is our connection to love, to source love, to infinite love. And we are simply using these declarations as a reclamation, okay? We are reclaiming and declaring the resonance, so not just the truth, but like the energetic resonance of that truth, of those declarations, to be used as a shield, okay, like to put around us. And that shield is not only going to assist us from the outside world, but it's also going to assist us internally. It's a shield of remembrance. And when I use the word remembrance, I like to think of it as like re-membrance, because to me, remembering something is remembering, to bring back the parts of ourselves that have been lost, stolen, abandoned, rejected, beaten, lied to, whatever it is, because of our human experience. Because we are sovereign, holy, spiritual beings having a human experience. And the whole goal of that is to remember and to return to our wholeness, to return to our sovereign divinity. And so right now we are speaking the truth of ourself with a capital S, and calling our future self or our higher self or our highest self into being. regardless of where we are right now, what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, and what we're going through. And so please, I invite you to return to this practice again and again, regardless of how your human awareness, your human body responded, even if it was uncomfortable, to allow it to do an inner work on you. And I have dedicated this practice to your highest good. And so you can trust that anytime you engage with it, that it is going to only benefit you for good and cause no harm. So I hope that it serves you and it blesses you. I would love to hear your first experience with it. Please share it in the comments, as well as when you come back to it, how you're working with it and the things that you are noticing in